Like if you trust me enough, I can go on random.org, and then we'll just see whoever gets the higher number from, we'll say 1 to 6, I guess. Actually 1 to 4. Unless you want to like actually bid or whatever.
I kind of don't care. I mean, I can't really figure any reason for me not to bid 0.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what we discussed last time was like there's to sacrifice vital, firepower that is kind of paramount regardless. I think it's kind of weird. I'm fine if you want to just like go with the tie option and just go from there.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. All right. So we'll just do that. Otherwise, it would have been you would have gotten a 3, which I don't. I'm gonna assume that just means you would have won the bid. Also, I have to remember to thank some new followers. That's important. All right. So my setup needs to be south edge. Just south edge. All right. Cool.
Yeah, south edge, and you have already expended half of your movement factor, so I'm not even sure how the hell that's going to work.
I mean, just gonna be 1.5. So there's essentially there's gonna be people who may do minimum moves or something else. I might as well just do this. This seems like the best option of these guys. Alright, well that's my setup. KMT moves first. Alright, that also I have to switch this over. There we go. Yeah, I guess technically you're just gonna set up in your own turn. Snipers, I did not set up my sniper. Chinese. I get the very wimpy 2-2, which is gonna suck. And I will put them here. Weather roll, no change. We do have gusts, I think. Was that a thing? No, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind. No wind, wet.
Ground snow.
Yeah, and ground snow. So elevation is +1 to the double. Cool. So rally phase, don't have anything. Prep fire phase, don't have anything. I guess, so technically, if I've spent half, so does that include, I guess that includes plus leader bonus. So if you're with a leader, you've already spent 3, and if you're not with a leader,
Well, you guys are conscripts too, don't forget.
yeah, no, that's why I think it's weird, because it's like, well, if they've already expended half, then like it's not really a benefit to have leaders, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. So.
Alright, so well, I'll just do this. That's 1. They can't go anywhere else. These guys have 3 left. So they will CX. 4, 6, 7, and then road bonus 8. That sounds right. It doesn't say I can't CX, so I'm gonna assume.
Yeah, I'd assume you could CX as well. I have to CX, so,
Yeah, it's just kind of it's weird when it says like you take you lose half because that it's like does half apply before CX or after CX or how does that work? But um, actually, I don't even think these guys are allowed to CX on their own. Uh, so one, so they're still off board. And then these guys over in the corner uh, will have to CX as well so that I can go up to R9. And that's my move. There's no other things going on. Advanced phase, these guys will go there. These guys will go here.
Can you do that if you're already CX'd? Because wouldn't that CX you?
No, because it doesn't cost, or at least it, I forget. I might be thinking of regular 4. So you might
Because
be
it would be their whole movement, right? It would be 3 movement to get up there.
Yeah, and I always find that's weird. Like, why does it not let you do an advance with the leader? But oh no, wait, no, because with they are with the leader, they're fine. No, never mind. Okay, sorry. Or all of the units available non-double time MF allotment, and because they're conscripts, otherwise, it's okay. So, so I guess they'll go in V8, and these guys will go S9. Those guys came on board, and guys in W10 have 3, so they will go up to 9, 6 in the process. Your turn.
So nothing rally. No prep fire. We're ready to move. Sorry, I need to just think for a moment here on what I want to do.
Yeah, no worries. While you're doing that, I don't know if I missed this or not. So, one, thank you, Famous Grub 72
Stick to me like
for the follow.
glue and keep your eyes open.
Thank you, 25 Clocks for the follow.
Stick to me like glue and keep your eyes open.
And thank you, Clons 87 2020 for the follow.
Stick to me like glue and keep your eyes open.
CVP info good. 2 CVP. That's strange.
And I'm sorry, I do realize I should have brought my units out at rally phase, but
I mean, it wouldn't matter because it's not like it doesn't change how my guys would have come in. I can't target any of your guys. I can't see any of your guys. So functionally, yeah, if you want to be a stickler for the rules, it should have been before the weather roll or whatever. But I mean, whatever.
which reminds me, no weather change.
Yay!
I think that's 3,
Yep.
4, 5, 6.
Mhm.
1, 2, 5. Six, and I think that's as far as I can go.
Okay.
3,
Mhm.
4, 5. Sorry. 4, 7,
Okay.
8.
Sounds good.
Defensive fire.
Absolutely none.
No advancing fire because I don't think anybody can see anybody.
Okay.
No routing. Advancing. So, can you advance if you're not if you're CX'd? I noticed you did, but then didn't.
No, so I couldn't advance if you're CX if that advance would make you CX. It says an advance into any hex whose movement factor cost, excluding smoke, is 4 or more. All the units non-double time movement factor allotment may not be made if the unit is already CX. Otherwise, it may advance but become CX in the process.
So I'm pretty sure I can do that because it's only 3 to go up that bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I jacked up over here. Dang it. So, if I'm not mistaken, those are actually 5 to get into, these crag elevations.
God, I always forget what Craig is worth.
Crag is 2, so it's going to be...
Yeah, that'd be 5 again.
Alright, yeah, so I can do that. Okay. Over to you.
Alright. Weather check, no change. I have no rally phase actions. No prep fire. So my CXs come off. Hooray. I mean, this
Did you check to see whether line of sight is working in this board or not?
It appears to work.
Okay, good. Yeah, sorry, I just...
Yeah, I tend not to worry about it unless it's like a custom board or something new. Anyways, Y10 to Y9 was 3, so that's all their move. I could technically do road bonus, but I'm not gonna bother. Clone all these. W9 is going to... they can't assault move because it's all their movement. So they just normal move to X8 for 3.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I can't see them.
Yeah, no. That's right, that was the other thing about this. Yeah. V8 is also going to assault move since they don't have to. They have more movement factors. I don't think anybody can see them, so they're fine. W9 is just going to assault move to V8. And then the stack over in S9 is going to assault move to R8.
Okay.
Defensive fire if you have any.
I don't think I can see anybody.
Sounds good. Dancing fire, none. Route phase, nothing. Advance phase. Now this is where I can attempt to be a little sneaky. Those guys are going to go there. These guys are going to go here, which CXs them. Oh, wait, I don't have to do that. One unit from W8 is going to jump into X8. And then I'm going to have to clone this. And R8 is going to split into 2 groups, one going to S8, the other going to R7. Pretty sure that guy would get seen, so I'm not going to bother. And that's it. Red's turn 2.
No weather change. There's no rally actions on my side. I believe there's none on yours either.
No.
No prep fire. Right in. These guys will assault move here.
Okay.
Actually, sorry. Before I kind of metaphorically take my finger off there. We'll do that instead. This is going to be interesting because I think you're going to human wave me.
Ah, maybe.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It solves your two most pressing problems.
Currently have a different plan, but I don't want to spoil anything.
This is a regular move for 1. 4. Don't know if these guys can see or not.
Oh yeah, the Y8 and Z8 will see them. Two guys. I will take a single shot. You know what? I'm just gonna reveal both stacks. So they're gonna fire group Z8, Y8 to Y6. Now there's a -1 for non-assault movement. There's a +1 for height advantage, and there's a +1 for CX. So ultimately, it's a 12 up 1 shot. 6 and 12. Take that. It is a 2 MC. Right. And that's it.
One.
Mm-hmm.
2.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's 3.
From W4, or where were they from?
Yeah, they're from W4.
Oh, then yeah, 3.
Actually, would it be alright if I CX them prior to?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 6 to move up.
Okay.
These guys will assault move.
Sounds good. That would be. Yeah, I'll just take a a BS shot. These guys, it's a 3 flat. Yeah, okay. Why does it not go below? It's dumb.
Sorry, looking for something.
No worries. I'm just gonna rearrange really quick. I want to see if afterwards these things get put on top. Yes, okay, cool. Which I guess means I should hip do this a bunch of times. There. Also, I guess I should say this for people watching, whether it's on YouTube or not. These counters do not imply that I own or control these hexes. They're literally just there because I can't put a neutral counter. I mean, unless I change the nation, but then whatever. It's just annoying to do. So these only imply that there will be a controller, not that they are currently controlled by me. And that's specifically because neither of us started on or in control.
Defensive fire. I'm done with movement.
Sounds good. Do I have anybody that can defensive fire? Or that wants to? Probably not. Defensive fire.
I mean, sure. Why not? The unit in Y6 will fire at Z8. Might as well.
Okay.
So it's range 3. It's going to be a 1.5 flat, I think.
Yep.
No.
Getting those out early.
I think that's it for advancing fire.
Sounds good.
Yeah, not worth it. Routes. So this is where it gets interesting. Is there an extra movement point going downhill? It's only going up, right?
Yes, it's only going up. If we had skis, you'd get a bonus going down. That's about it.
In that case, I'm pretty sure Y6 has to route to W4.
If they're going to route, yeah, they have to go to W4, but because of height advantage, they don't technically have to. Now, there's no reason to keep your guy there, but just to say that it's a possibility if you wish to do that instead.
So, question, I can route him kind of however I like, right? Do I have to actually make it there, or can I just use partial?
So the idea is always that if you're routing, you need to pick a target for where you route before you even do any movement. So in this case, and you're always routing towards the nearest in movement factors. So in this case, it has to be W4 if you route, because Z1 and DD3 are further away. You can spend however many movement factors in order to get there. If you need or want to take a longer route. Like, nothing says you have to go via X5 and W5. You can go Y5.
No, my question is, do I have to continue routing as long as I have movement factors available?
You can't willingly stop, is the thing. So if you have a guy in X5, like a leader, you could just low crawl. That's always an option as well. Because low crawl...
Then, yes, he is going to low crawl.
Yeah, because as far as I'm aware, low crawl does not require, like, you can just choose to low crawl if you want to. You're not, usually you're not forced to pick one or the other. Yeah, like all other route provisions apply unchanged to low crawl, e.g. route must still be towards the nearest woods building location within 6 movement factors. And since you're accomplishing that, you're
Okay, I think that's all of my routing.
All right.
Advancing. Sorry, I gotta look something else up again.
Yeah, no worries. Oh man, it really does try to put it up. Sorry, I'm just gonna do. That was just so annoying. There. No. There.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
No,
that's
no,
not
it's
your
gonna
fault.
fight me, but
It's,
you know.
it's just the way that the hip counters work. Like when I unhip them, it sets them to the top layer, which then messes up with grabbing stuff. So I'm trying to juggle units around while not being intrusive to your own stuff.
Yeah, no, I think I'm pretty much done.
All right.
No close combat yet.
Not yet. All right, red
Over
phase.
to you. Yep.
No weather change. I have no rally phase actions. Prep fire.
I do. Wait.
Oh yeah,
no.
sorry.
At least I think I do. They're in the clear against the rally, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you just don't get the that might be a rally. Hold on. That's
My commissars.
what's your guy? Your guy is a 9-1. No, that's not a commissar. If it was the 9-0, it'd be a commissar. You're off by 1.
Yeah. Oh well. But yeah, I fail.
So DM comes off. It's fine. Yeah, so that's a super juicy target. I kind of want to just hammer it, so I'll probably do that again. Yeah, so Z8, Y8 is going to shoot at Y6. It's going to be a +2, 1 for height advantage and 1 for CX, but it is 12. Alright, 9 on 12 is a normal run. These guys. Not really worth it. Alright, so if I choose to do this one thing, I just need to know if I'm pretty sure it's going to be a concealed toss. I need to make sure. I can't see why it wouldn't be, but... Any exceptions? No. Okay, so they'll lose him, but whatever. So essentially, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to be attempting to entrench a bunch of guys. So, entrenching any unbroken infantry squad which is yet to attempt an action during that phase and is not currently in an entrenchment or on a wire counter may place a 1 squad foxhole counter up above itself and any participating leader or leaders in its current hex during its preparation fire phase by announcing an entrenchment attempt and making a final DR5. Now, I guess technically, unless I missed something, it doesn't say you can have multiple squads work together. Just each squad appears to be digging their own foxholes. So, in the case of X8, they're both going to attempt. That's no, and that is also a no. So they are both marked as TI, and I believe they both get a labor counter. Yes. Labor and labor. I'm also going to be doing it with these schmucks over in S8. So 1 successful. Where is my? Don't have it there. Info, fortify, foxhole. They're both TI. I should just do it here. One guy is labor. Over here, now they lose concealment, but I don't think anybody can see them. So technically, what's it say on the chart? It is a KC. Okay, so they don't lose concealment, but just to let you know, there's a squad with a leader helping out. Not that they'll do anything, but still. They also entrench. They will also be marked with the TI counter. Now these guys are a pretty big stack, so I don't know if I want to do that. Where is Makatsu? 1 squad in W8 will attempt. Nope. He also gets TI and labor. And this guy's just in an awkward position. So he will do nothing. That's it for prep fire, movement phase. The squad in V8 will move to W9. I am not sure if you can see him from S5. So you can get a free LOS check if you want.
I think I'll skip it.
Okay.
I'm not going to worry about it.
So 1, 2, 3, and I can't use bonus road for anything. So, pretty sure this guy Y9 will lose concealment to Y6 because it's a continuous slope.
Yeah, and we will fire at him from Y6.
Okay, so 3 down 2. Nothing. Count my lucky stars there. But yeah, that's it for movement phase. Defensive fire, all yours.
I mean, sure, why not? W6 will fire at S8, so that's going to be 1.5. Up 1?
Sorry.
Or is it a hindrance? Sorry, so no.
For shooting at S8?
Yes.
I feel like Crag is TM. No, hindrance. Yeah, so nothing. It's just flat.
don't think I have any other fire at this point. Over to you.
I mean, for shits and giggles, I might as well.
Yeah.
As a 1.5 up 1. No. That's it. Route phase, no routes for me. Oh, Z8 loses their CX.
I don't think I have to route that guy, do I? Still.
No, because they're not under DM counter.
Yep. So
and I
that's
don't have anybody that can see him, I think.
So I'm done.
I have no route phase actions. So advances. Z8's gonna split into 3 groups. The guy in Y8 is gonna go to Z7. Y9 is gonna go to Z8 as a CX. And I think that's it. Do I have anybody else that wants to do anything? No. No CC. TIs will come off. And that's it.
Weather. No change. Rally phase. The squad here.
Nice.
Successfully rallies, thankfully. I think that's it.
Sounds right. Excuse me.
Corrupt fire.
20. Basically, how we do it is I have a giant spreadsheet with all the scenarios I own. So we've had scenarios that date back as far as 1908, and currently we're in the date in the bottom right, so 1935 February, and we're going chronologically. So in this case, with Hypno, we're playing through a scenario pack called The Long March, made available by Heat of Battle, which was produced in 2002, I think, or at least 2001, 2002. And
Not worth picking up unless you love Chinese Civil War.
yeah, we've had our gripes about scenarios in this pack so far. I don't know if I should say it needs more polish or if there's just something that we're not grokking specifically, but essentially that's how we go through things. It's just chronological order. So once this pack is done, and once I work through a couple other scenarios, we'll be diving into Soldiers of the Negus, which is made available with Hollow Legions, the new one. And there's also going to be a bunch of like Spanish Civil War stuff, so there might be a sequence of scenarios that will kind of follow suit in the sense that they'll be from the same publication or same third-party publisher, but after that it's kind of just going to be a mix of a bunch of stuff, and other than like campaigns, it'll probably progress that way for quite some time. But yeah, sorry, your profile?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out whether I have a line of sight to Z7
From
Y6.
Oh yeah. Yeah, as long as it's a continuous slope, you're fine. Like if you're declaring the shot legitimately, then you draw it and you're fine.
Yeah, no. I was trying to kind of mentally step through to see if I could do it without actually declaring a shot. But yeah, sure, we'll take the shot. What the hell? Yeah, Y6 will fire at Z7.
Sure.
So 3 flat, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
God damn it.
All right, your dice are cursed today.
Let's see. Do I have any other prep fire? Yes. W6 will fire again at S8.
Sounds
So,
good.
1.5 flat.
Yeah, and there'll be a +2 against the guy in the foxhole.
So 7 on 1.5. Is that anything? I don't think so.
No, I think it's still a miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, chat, for the other reason too why I want to do chronological is because you get a nice progression of how uh, very bare bones scenarios might appear, because you'll only have infantry or you won't have as many support weapons and stuff. And as you progress through time, you get to see the sort of exciting change between, say, uh, your Panzer ones to Panzer twos, your Valentine tanks to Churchill tanks, etc., etc. It just makes it a nice, interesting. Like once you get the new tech, you're kind of like, oh, finally, like breath of fresh air, and you get to see how to goof around with those.
Yeah, vehicles are actually pretty properly terrifying in this era because there isn't a hell of a lot that can really do much to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't have a super large amount of firepower, but they can almost run around with impunity unless there's some moderately heavy support weapons roaming around.
I find that's kind of a double-edged thing, because it depends on if they have good MGs in them. One of the scenarios I was playing with Gary is Chopai Chop Block, or Chalk Block. I always mess up the name for it. But there's an armored car in there that has MMGs, like a CMG that's valued at 8. So it's hard to be up against it and without like anti-tank stuff. And it's an automatic like 16 against you. So, it's dangerous to be near it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to use them carefully, but they really can be. It's kind of weird how it kind of appropriately mimics the
Big
freak
glass
out
cannon,
that
yeah.
troops must have had when they started shooting at them and nothing would happen,
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we've honestly had more vehicles lost to like engine failure than anything else.
That and like gun malfunctions and stuff.
Yeah, and let's not talk about the chonkas.
Probably for the best.
Sorry, gonna assault move there.
Okay.
It's weird that they don't have a takeoff CX function.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's not a specific phase thing. Like, it is a phase thing, but I think if you had a button to take off CX, because it's not at the end of the turn or anything like that, you'd like let's say you wanted to take off CX, it would take off the CX on my guys as well.
Yeah,
And
no,
it's-
it would kind of be handy.
It'd be nice to, yeah. Admittedly.
Assault move there, and assault move there.
Okay.
Because I'm feeling spicy.
But yeah, wardrobe. The biggest issue with elevations really is line of sight, and like once you can kind of get an idea as to distance from one hex to another, or for example, if you're in BB8, you can't see BB10 because of the BB9 woods, but if you were at a further distance, you might be able to. Or like if you were, if BB8 was CC4 or BB4 in terms of height, then you'd be able to see over it. So you kind of, there was someone who did a visualization a long time ago, where they used the dice that came with the game, the very small dice, and they would just string it on top of that, so you could kind of see like if the thread touched something, then it was like saying that the line of sight was blocked. And it's a neat way to do it. It doesn't work in like 100% of the circumstances, so I don't think people trust it. But
So this is an assault move.
yeah,
And it's into I don't know. See, does that count, or do I need to yank the concealment?
No, yeah, I think you're fine because Crag is concealment train, I think. No, it's not. Huh. Then yeah, they might have to yank it.
Yeah, so they lose it. Okay. That's fine. Okay. That's the end of my movement phase. Defensive fire. Come on, fire group them. You know you want to.
Yeah, I just don't know if I want to add this CX guy or not, and I probably don't. So I'm just gonna do. Also, do I want to do anybody else? Probably not. So Y8, Z6, and AA8 all against your Y6 guy. So there's a +1 to that, so it's 7 on 12, which is a 1 MC. Alright, I'll take a break. And that will be it for my defensive fire, which just means I'm taking off all the counters I just put.
I don't think I have any advancing fire at this point.
Sounds good.
So route phase. They will low crawl.
Mm-hmm.
Advance phase.
Yeah, while you're doing that, the last thing I want to add with regards to the chronological style of playthrough, it's really that you kind of get to see, instead of picking scenarios, like I could pick a pack, but I know I would be biased either because like maybe maybe the graphic design on the front page is nice or whatever, or maybe it just like sounds more interesting. But I find that one of the beauties of ASL is that being a game that's 35 plus years old or whatever it is now, you have a lot of scenarios that were created and published, but are either impossible to find these days, or when you do find them, it's just interesting to see how, like, why decisions were made back then, or how does it reflect the style that people used to play with or as compared to maybe like the a more modern quote unquote like tournament style that you might see from 2021 or 2022, which admittedly I don't know the too much about how many other people play because ASL is a very insular community, and while there are people who stream it or produce videos, they might not do both, or knowledge of the tournaments doesn't get spread as much as it should or does. So it kind of just the community doesn't help itself, I guess, in that regard. So.
I am done with my advances.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, just for giggles. No CC. I would like to gain concealment. I think Y5, this hex, and that hex. So that's Y5, X5, and X6.
Yep.
They can all gain.
Yeah, I think the only thing to check might be you might have to roll because you're not in concealment terrain. Let's check that real quick.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Within 16 hexes, not in concealment, and is out of LOS. Yeah, so you have to roll anything below 6 is a success. You're partisan, so you're stealthy, so you get a -1. So effectively, you can't miss. There's no possession. You don't have a leader with a plus, and you're not lax. So yeah, you just gain it regardless. Because I don't think there's a way for that to, like a concealment DR doesn't trigger anything, so I don't think it would matter.
All right, I think we're good then. So over you.
Awesome. And Wardrobe, honestly, I appreciate people who do come in and ask questions or just watch. It's nice to see more people interested in ASL, and the unit size. I mean, does the unit size?
So it's squads, so like 10, 12 guys, 8 to 12 guys, depending on
No,
arrow,
he says
arm.
he's talking about. Oh, so there is a +3. Damn, I didn't realize that. Gary's pointing out that for the concealment dice roll, you have to add your unit size number, which is something that like never comes up in scenarios. So essentially, roll your dice, and if you get 4 or above, then you guys don't get concealed. And I think
Single die or dice? Or
single
both?
die. And I think it's 1 roll per unit. Well, let me check. Pretty sure it's. Yeah, thanks for that, Gary. I completely forgot.
Gary!
Such a unit can receive concealment only by rolling. Yeah, so I think you roll for each individual squad.
All right. Y5, X5, X6.
So, is what X6 doesn't get concealed, and the others are fine. Whatever the second option was.
X5 does not get concealed.
I know some rules well, Wardrobe. I'm not gonna claim. I know a lot of rules, like all the rules super well. I'm also like very privy to like I have a lot of resources in terms of like an online rule book. I got the e-rule book. I got the physical rule book. So I don't have an issue with like looking stuff up. So, but yeah, okay. So those guys conceal weather rule, no change. I have no rally phase actions.
I have one, actually.
Sounds good.
Do you want me to unconceal the leader? It's the same one as before.
I wouldn't be able to see him anyways, and I know he's a leader, so.
Yes, there is a leader involved there. And no.
Sounds
Does
good.
come off, though.
Prepfire. I don't think I have any targets. I will be continuing my labor attempts, so we'll do W8 first. 2 die, -1, no. So it flips to -2, use TI. Both the guys in X8 individually. The first guy makes it, the second guy does not. I need to pull this. Oops. This and this. Labor comes off. And then over here in S8, he also passes. I'm just gonna make that a 2x or 2s. There, that's done. All right. Oh, I'm also, just so I don't mix that up, one guy's, he's marked as actually I should mark him as TI. There. That way I don't go shooting with him as well. It's 1.5 up 1. I don't really think I can do anything there. I'm not going to do any other shots, or any shots, I guess, technically. Movement phase, CX in Z8 comes off. 2 guys there. I'm not liking this. Z8's going to go to Y8 for 1. AA8 is going to go to AA7 for 1. And then AA6 for 2.
Okay.
And I think that'll be it. Defensive fire phase.
None.
Okay. Yeah, the hassle boards are super cool. There's if you have any interest in hassle boards and you don't know like third-party ones, there are a lot of really good third-party hassle stuff. So groups like Lone Canuck Publishing, Advancing Fire has done quite a few things lately. Big projects, expensive unfortunately, but a lot of stuff that's worthwhile. I have no Advancing Fire stuff, no routes. Advanced phase, I will do one silly thing, which is to take the Squadron X8 out of its foxhole. And that's it. No CC. Turn 4 reds. TS come off.
No
Actually,
weather
that
change.
reminds me.
I have one rally action.
Yep.
Which fails.
Unfortunately, yeah.
That's it for rally.
Okay.
Prep fire. Do not have any. Movement phase. Assault move.
Okay.
Assault move.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Defensive fire.
Alright. Just do this. Defensive fire. S8 will shoot at W6 as a group. So it's 3 firepower up 1. 8 and 3, I'm pretty sure it's not. Yeah, just missed. But otherwise, no shots. So advancing fire phase.
None.
Sounds good.
Oops,
no
sorry.
routes.
So no routes. Advances.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think we're good there. No close combat. Let me roll for this guy to get concealment again, I believe.
Hmm?
He does not. Over to you.
Sounds
Turn
good.
6. No, turn 5.
Yeah. Weather, no change. If it was gust, there would be change. Or like falling snow or something.
I do have a rally action if you don't have any.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Huzzah!
Okay, so
Oh, don't forget to do your digging.
yeah, if I want to keep digging. That's the key here. Let's see if I can get something out of here. does that help me in any way, shape, or form? Okay, I'm gonna do this thing because, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Also because I learned something interesting about it from a conversation on Discord.
Oh God, what bizarre rule crack are we going to be?
Oh no,
Where
it's
we
not.
now
It's
now?
not bizarre. It's actually stuff that we've done before. But I think I have a better understanding of it now. I'm declaring human wave. Since I'm pretty sure there's nothing against me declaring that. So essentially, these guys are all gonna lose concealment anyways. I take out the labor because they're not technically working on that stuff anymore. And I'm gonna need a bunch of counters.
Where is your target?
So here's the thing. My target, unless I'm mistaken, and I'm really jumping the gun here. My target's gonna be this guy. So, 1, 2, 5. Oh, is he? Hold on. Can I? Basis may declare during his by selecting one or more names as well as one leader. All units must start the move phase yet. To an enemy unit, aka the target within 8 hexes. Yeah, so it's because it's within 8 hexes, I think it's fine. I was worried that it was 8 moving factors, but it does not seem to say.
Okay, all right. This is
So-
going to be interesting, but all right.
Yeah, so here's the thing that I'm hoping I learned correctly. So it's not along this hex grain. It has to be. I think it technically has to be along this hex grain to get to you, and that is apparently what the how the direction and facing goes, right? So unless I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it's that, and everybody is checking based on that particular hex grain. So someone was saying that that's kind of how you see you end up seeing a sort of quote unquote funnel.
Okay, so I'm just going to say this right now before you get going, because if I think you're going to do what I think you're going to do, I'm just going to say that this is the most bullshit exploit of human wave I have seen yet. Because I am 100% sure that you are going to charge up on top of that fucking hill, and you are going to immediately say, "Oh, I'm all adjacent to you," and then you're going to jump on. And that is the most bullshit thing, because you are declaring a human wave charge against something that is fucking 300 meters the other goddamn way.
So I don't want to lose.
Just saying, I knew you can go ahead and do it, but if you're going to do what I think you're going to do, it's bullshit.
So there's certain units I don't want to throw right to the fire right away, but essentially, yes, there is some shenanigans with how these guys have to go up the hill to follow the human wave, and it means that they're running right into your guys from on top of the hill.
I don't believe they have to go up the hill. I think they could probably shift south to to X8 and Y8, but okay.
And it also, that's a 3 movement factor move, so. So they may be shot at 3 times each.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Okay, we're going to start. W6.
Also, I get to claim 1 location as a victory. Victory hits. Yeah, I can kind of see why the Chinese player wants to bid and why they make it so that you lose squads, because like we can see right now like how both
I can
sides
smell
are-
the goddamn brie going on here. I'm just letting you know.
Look, if you'd still had a guy on top of the hill, I would have done it to the guy on top of the hill.
The officer couldn't see him.
I think he could have. Yeah.
All right. Well, first shot is going to be. We'll do one squad at each hex, so that's going to be 6
Down to each.
down 2 each. Yep. So we'll start with Y7. So that's 3 on 6, which is K2.
Alright. So one is casualty reduced. And then it's K2. Yeah, so, and then they both take a 2 morale check. They have 7 morale. Alright, so the first guy's automatically dead, and the other guy's fine.
Never fails. Okay, and then the other shot on X7 is also. And no, so we cower nothing.
No, you don't cower. So at least you're not final fired. But, yeah.
So let's see, and that left. Do I get a penalty in the CC if I've final fired?
No, not at all.
And you're going to get triple point blank when you move into my hex next impulse, right?
So in the advancing fire phase is when I'll get to shoot. So it's not even at the, like, when you get in. And because it's advancing fire, it'll be tripled, but half. So the most I can do is 4.5. Per squad, I guess, technically I should say.
What? Asshole, you dingus.
Oh, yeah, because you're flipping a first fire, yeah.
Yeah, they are going to repeat their shots.
Yep.
So it's going to be a 3 down 2 now for both of them. So again, starting Y7. That's going to be a 5 on 3, which is a normal morale check.
The casualty reduce.
And then the other shot, 6 on 3, which is a pin test check.
They can't pin.
Yeah, of course not. So let me guess. You're going to move into V6 and W7 next, and then you're going to say, oh, I'm adjacent, and then everybody's going to pile into W6.
No, I have a plan to run guys to the other hill to try and overwhelm, but there may be some people going into W7 and then going from there.
Yeah, right.
I mean, honestly, for the guys in Y7 and X7, it depends on who survives the shots.
X5 will fire with the leader directing at X7. So this is the third shot on X7, and so we are going to be at a 3 down 3.
Oh, so just so you don't misunderstand, everybody gets to shoot 3 times if they have their rate of fire and can shoot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's all right.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
X5 is
X5.
firing at X7,
Yeah, so 3 down 3.
3 down 3. So 4 on 3 is a 1.
They are dead.
No, not Y7, not Y7, X7.
Oh, I heard X. My bad.
Yeah.
So one guy casualty reduces. Other guy
I'm
also casualty
confused.
reduces.
It's a 1MC.
Yeah. Yeah, what about it?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed one of your morale checks. Sorry.
Yeah, so they both casualty reduce.
And that's it. Go ahead.
Unless I'm mistaking human wave, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, they do break. Why am I thinking that they casualty reduce instead? I think it's because I'm thinking of Berserk. That's probably what it is. Which breaks one, which passes the other. Oh yeah. Okay. That's gonna make these things dumb. Why did I confuse Human Wave with Berserk at the worst time possible? So it means that everybody who these guys broke, and this guy would be full squad. Because they just broke now. Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. This guy would also be the full squad. Ah, man, why did I do this? Okay, so these guys are deleted. This guy is broken. Human wave is over for these guys. So, sorry. So instead of casualty reducing, they would have broken, but one guy broke like twice. So to not make your shots worthless, because that would be stupid. So they both broke, and one guy ends up being casualty reduced. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do both squads being casualty reduced, because otherwise it's just real stupid. And the guys in the bottom passed their stuff, except on the most recent shot, so they're just broken. There.
All right. So keep going.
So 4.
Interesting. Okay. W6 is going to fire at U7.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be 6 down 2.
Sure.
So 3 on 6 is K2.
So middle squad gets casualty reduced. I need to clone that guy. This and clone there. And then K2. So the leader's fine. And both the other guys work. Anything else?
Nope.
So that will be. What is that? That was 4. So 7. That direction. So these guys can technically go here. Do I want to chance a guy going? No. So that's 7.
The guys in W6 will fire. So they're doubled halved. So it's going to be 6 down 2.
Yep. So where's my-
Holy moly.
Yeah, that's
Well,
why I don't. That's why you shouldn't have complained, honestly, because there's not there's not much to really worry about with a human wave. So those guys are both dead. Which-
Your sniper.
Hey. 2. Technically, these guys are
W6
over.
is not concealed.
That guy's also. No, I think because it's just TEM, which is the deciding factor. So I mean, I'll just TEM or S5. So it's a pin if it's a squad, and it's a wound check if it's a single man counter. Yeah, so just pin them. And then 8.
Sure, we'll fire at you. Why not? So doubled halved. So it's going to be 3 down 2
6 down 2.
and halved.
Yeah, but you're doubled, right?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking.
one
Yeah,
squad.
sorry. I'm still thinking of 2 squads for some reason.
Oof.
Yeah, there you go. And that's
After having horrible dice earlier, my IFT rolls have been absolutely insane. I just want to.
yeah, but that's why I don't think you should have bothered complaining, because frankly, it's whenever you're invoking human wave, you're always running the risk as the attacker that something something bad
I
is
think
going to
it's
happen.
cheesy because it's you wanted to do a human wave up the hill essentially, and to do that you declared a human wave against the other hill, and so that's because you didn't have the line of sight up there. That's all. It's not that wasn't a comment on the tactic. I mean, it's a fantastic tactic. You know, like yeah, that's very much using the hex grades to your advantage to get them up like that. I just think it's cheese. I mean, you know, it's that's all it is. So that's fine. No, it's cool. I'm glad it could have gone the other way. If my dice rolls had been average, it wouldn't have been quite as bad.
Yeah, I don't know if
dice rolls.
I just don't know if I'd say it's cheese necessarily. Just because you don't, if your guys were at the hill, at the hill crest, maybe I agree it's cheese. But in any case, I don't think I can recover from this. So this is a concede for me, because
The reason I say it's cheese is because you're using the fact that you don't have line of sight up onto my guys, so you couldn't declare a human wave against them there unless I had a guy in Y6.
sure, but I had the movement to get there. Because it would have just been an assault move up the hill, which they both had the move factors to do so, and then advance into the hex. So it's more of a way just to stifle that and also get over to this hex.
Well, I was thinking. I mean, it's also you get the movement factor bonus. You get which is important on this map because everything costs like a ridiculous amount to move up and down this hill. You get the morale bonus, which is normally helpful.
Didn't mean anything.
It didn't help particularly in this case. I'm not going to argue, but it's a help. You know, the +1 doesn't hurt. You know, so yeah, and you're immune to pins and things like that. So there are some benefits to it. But yeah, it was. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry. Let me back this out. The cheese comment was not directed at you. It was directed at the rules. Okay? Because it's entirely an artifact of the fact that you know where my troops are, but the rules are not letting you use that information. So you have to work around that, I guess would be the way to put it.
I get where you're coming from. I just don't. From a cheese standpoint, I think there's a lot of other stuff I'd consider cheese over that, because you have to use a hex grain, so sure, and it has to be towards the target. But in any case, I just thought it was an interesting way of
yeah, no, it's certainly
representing
interesting.
the hex grain stuff, because the idea, so how I understand it is that like you're always using the alternate hex grain. So your side and front hexes, technically, unless you're going straight at the guy, so like Y8 type idea, you're always going to be changing your front and side hexes. So, for example, my guys in V6, um, if that had been the eighth movement factor, they would have stayed there, and I like it wouldn't be that much of an issue, and I can hop into here. But since the hex screen is like the direction's there, that's not a side hex anymore. Like I would only have 3 front hexes, so it's the there's not as much cheese as you might think. Like you
Yeah,
have to.
no. The way I saw it is it had some intro, and I don't know if you saw the same thing I did, which was it's basically you're picking the line that your troops are going to advance on. So if it's along the hex grain, you're basically doing a straight line for all of the units. They're moving in that line. They can kind of do a little bit of they can if your main line of attack is this way, they can shift hex lines so they're still moving that way as long as at least one unit is going that. So you can kind of shift the center of the assault, and then the alternate hex grain, you're basically going up, up one, left one, up one, left one, up one, left one, and so again you're picking your line of advance, the center of your assault essentially, but you're shifting, that may be an advantageous one, and so you took advantage of it. I'm not saying it wasn't a good move. I feel like it's a bit getting around limitations in the game where you kind of know where I am, so you can say, oh, okay, I'm gonna assault over here and kind of sneakily throw a human wave up on there, even though I legally can't declare it. I mean, honestly, I think you should be able to declare a human wave at landmarks. Like you should just be able to say we're gonna seize that woods, and go. Like it shouldn't necessarily have to be an enemy unit, if that makes sense, Because I mean,
Yeah,
from a commander standpoint, it would be all right. We're going to charge the top of that hill. Like that would seem to me to be a very valid target for a human wave.
I think it's probably just like you don't want to, like there's a point in charging a hill, but then that's just CX, whereas human wave is like to specifically assault a position. I think is more the idea.
Well, it's like I mean,
because
yes,
I think
no.
I think
I feel like it's like you can't really coordinate with CX, right? It's all individual hexes, and the morale bonuses and things like that from having 1,000 dudes like charge up the hill is also kind of in there. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you would represent it, but I feel like that should probably be an option. Is you should be allowed to charge it at notable terrain features.
I think it comes up so infrequently that there's a reason why certain scenarios will just make it a what's the word I'm looking for? They make it like a special scenario rule, just to like start even from like off board. You get to human wave, but the idea of like you get to all as a human wave charge at anything anytime. I think kind of makes movement a little bit too much. Like for example, like what if on turn one I'd said like, okay, well I'm human waving up to hilltop 140 or whatever. It just seems like if there's anything about abuse, then that would be it, because you know you don't get the penalty of CX. Like human wave, like you'll be lax for, till the end of the turn or whatever type idea, but you don't have the penalty of the +1 for an entire turn.
Well, I mean, you could do something like if you're human waving at a unit, you get 8 movement factors, but if it's at a terrain feature, you get 6. Something along those lines.
At a certain point, you're just diminishing the what makes human wave different, and you're just giving an ability for people to just run. And
I mean,
I think
I have some questions about the whole human wave thing to begin with. Did they ever actually see it, or are we just repeating myths from,
Oh, I'm sure I've read
words myths.
I'm sure that I've read reports and whatever that include variations of a theme of human wave, and I think there's truth there to have existed for people to talk about it, but I certainly don't think it's as exaggerated as like enemy at the gates or whatever, or like
Yeah.
People are just like constantly throwing bodies in front of machine guns, unless like, and it's weird. Like people say it's crazy that human wave existed. Like that could, who would be so stupid? But yet, like you look at Guadalcanal and the Japanese and their banzai charges where like everybody dies. And it's
Well,
like,
I mean, you literally look at the First World War. The first like 3-4 months of that were nothing but human waves.
oh yeah,
That
yeah,
was,
but that's what
that
I'm
was the
saying.
French tactical doctrine, so it's not like.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a nugget of truth, and I just think there's a lot of it's like how everybody likes to like look at any discussion on like the Panther tank, for example. It's like people just like shit on it, and they never there's no like you can't give it an inch, because if you give it an inch, it's like giving credence to the Nazis who just talk it up all the time. And it's like, well, at some point you have to say that like tank gun was good, or machine gun was good. Does that mean, then you just go into political discussion at that point. So.
I mean, I mean, in terms of the Panther, it's like tactically it was a fantastic tank, but in most other areas it was kind of a disaster, like not the tank that they needed at the time, you know.
Sure, but that's my point. Is that like it's like saying like people talk about the last cavalry charge was done by the Italians against the Russians in I forget, like 1942, 43. There's a scenario about it too, which is nice, and eventually we'll get to. But it's like that would probably be determined as like a cavalry charge, or and is equivalent to human wave in most respects. It just kind of differs on like movement factors, and I think the way that cavalry gets shot at. But it's like, there's a document about it. Would the Italians be that stupid? I mean, maybe, but also like, you sometimes you don't have to be so cynical about everything. It's
Oh
just,
yeah, no, I mean, look, I don't doubt that it happened. I feel like it feels like it comes up a little too much often. I mean, mostly it's just because we're playing with really horrible troops, so you need
well,
like
yeah,
bonuses
think,
for human wave are proportionally higher relative to everything else that's going on. So yeah, I can see that. I mean, particularly for your guys, 3 movement. I mean, Jesus, that's killer on this map.
yeah, there's definitely a point to to mention or to emphasize the fact that like a scenario pack like Long March really does emphasize the idea and use of human wave, and it, if anything, it's just kind of sad that a conflict like the Chinese Civil War has uh, less English, I don't want to say authoritative works on it on the time period, but it's just kind of like, if only there were more sources, and maybe not necessarily more credible sources, but like just more sources in general.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we're not seeing. Like, we're getting a very skimmed view of this particular portion of the conflict. And yeah, no, I really think we could do deep dive. Like, I was kind of looking forward to doing some of the Spanish Civil War stuff. Like, you mentioned it as a joke when we were planning to play that the scenario with Franco, where if he bites it, you gotta rewrite the Spanish Civil War. And I actually read a book on fascism in Spain from covering his reign, and I gotta be honest, it wouldn't have changed necessarily all that much.
Yeah.
If anything, it probably would have just meant that the dictatorship collapsed a little bit earlier, because Franco's real claim to fame was being able to balance the very weird power imbalances inside his government.
Right.
And so, like, militarily, I don't know. I have to go read up on the military part of it. I don't know how big of an influence he had on that necessarily. But that would be the other place he might have had an influence. But yeah, so like, I'm really kind of keen to do some of the Spanish Civil War stuff, and I don't feel like there's a lot of them. I mean, I don't know what are we talking about? A dozen scenarios, 12 or 15?
Oh no, there's way more than a dozen.
Oh, good. That I hadn't. I don't look ahead because it will just make me cry.
I mean, we have a lot of Long March to do, which is the one thing. But in terms of,
I mean, we're halfway through. Like, there's what, 15 scenarios?
17, I think, 16. Yeah,
Yeah,
16.
then we're exactly. This is 8, so we're halfway through.
Is this 8? Oh, I didn't color in the last one. That's why. I was like, oh, wow, I feel like, no, there should be more. All right.
But there are 17, so we do have slightly more than half the pack. But yeah, we're about halfway through this pack.
Where the hell is 17? I think it's because 17 is like way for. Oh, that's what it is. 17 is in March 37, which is like.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. So yeah,
40 scenarios from now.
All right, yeah, no worries. Yeah, so we're halfway through this particular pack. Yeah, that's
1,
no
2,
big deal.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
The only thing I hope is when we get to some of the other conflict zones that we actually get some goddamn support weapons. Because holy moly.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 1, 2. 43-ish scenarios, but there's gonna be doubles, so like comfortably there's at least half that. So it's also gonna be interesting.
So this scenario, I don't know. Like I can see why you would bid. I don't know why the Reds would bid less. Like that seems to be the thing. The bidding mostly seems to be on the.
If anything, I find that the red Chinese bidding is like the worst. I like the only reason to bid as the red Chinese is to like really punish the KMT, because let's say you bid and you win, because whatever, like you get to move first, you lose a couple squads, we'll say, and I guess the player with the low bid, yeah. So if you're the low bid, so the loser, you set up in the territorial hexes. So why would I want to eliminate? Let's say I bid to move first, right? And I bid 3, even 2 squads. So I would go from 12 to 10 squads, and I get to move first. But like, you control all the hexes, and we've already seen. And we've already seen that even 3 firepower doubled will do a number on conscripts. So I'm not quite sure what the benefit is of the KMT player bidding ever, because you're reducing your own manpower and making sure that you'll get shot sooner. Like what?
Yeah, I mean, I really was kind of confused. It feels very. I mean, I guess it feels unnecessary. Like, why just have it be a fight? You know? Like, have it be a race to the thing. I mean, even if they just did away with the bidding and just said, okay, you know, the Reds have to CX the first turn and you get half movement, though even that seems ridiculously punishing. But
I think so. The old man's in the chat. Hey, old man, thanks for watching. I think you played as KMT as well on this scenario. I think after having played this and been silly at the end, I think that if there should be a bid system for this scenario, it should be how tough you want the ending to be. Like, let's say you bid as the KMT, and like you could still keep, like, you eliminate squads or you move first or whatever, but maybe make it so that instead of the red Chinese start on the hill or whatever, or like, you know, you start expended half your movement factor, or the reds have to be double timed. I think it might be more interesting if it's like high bid maybe needs to score only 2 objectives instead of 6 or 4 in this case, or make it so that the KMT must have an X amount of squads must remain unbroken at the end of the scenario, and that way at least like you can force your opponent to potentially have to deal with more BS, even though you're taking away some of your own strength. And you could like hand wave it away as like, well, those guys secured like the flank over here, or like are busy over on this side, and that's why they're not on the map, but they're affecting like the CVP values and the conditions of the scenario. I think that would be more, in my opinion, would be more interesting in terms of how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it just basically comes down to I think there's a more interesting way they could have done it than the way they chose to do it.
And especially since because this was essentially my problem is like, okay, I can get here, right? I can get below the lip of the objectives, but if I want to advance, I don't have the movement factors to go. Let's say I'd done it more conservatively, and I was like, okay, one squad in Y8 advances, her assault moves, they get shot at. The other squad in Y8 goes gets shot at. They both break, same result. Okay, now Z7 needs to go somewhere in order to get those hexes, but I can literally only go to Z6. So, so now I move up here to Z6. You shoot at them, and we'll say they break. Even if they don't, like, whatever. If I move anywhere, right? If I advance anywhere, the only good target is Y6, and if I go there, you've got 3 hexes that are going to shoot point blank. This guy's fucking hosed. No, like, there's no doubt about it. And there's no route terrain. There's no, like, there's no benefit to attacking. So I was like, I will foxhole, which, yes, old man, Stu, I did really well on my foxholes, I have to admit.
Yeah, that was impressive. Those conscripts dug as if their lives depended on it.
Yeah, they're partially engineers as far as I'm concerned. But the only reason why I wanted to do this was literally like, okay, I have foxholes, so I had defensive terrain, and then on the last turn or something, or like, whenever the moment strikes, I can advance out and into, or on the last turn, that's when I move out of the foxhole. I'm still in open ground. You have to come claim these hexes, but I just don't have the distance at the start to get to V6 or V7 and be able to get anywhere.
So here's the fun part for me from that. I don't have to get those hexes. I don't care if you have those hexes. You can have those hexes for all I care, because I have 4, and that's enough for me to win.
Yeah, but that's the thing, like, so I can foxhole next to these ones and try to get them, but anytime I want to get more, I just don't have the movement factors to get me anywhere, because all I have is conscripts, and I have to go uphill at some point. So as soon as you get on the hill, I'm at an immediate disadvantage, and honestly, I don't know if there's a way for the KMT to really regain from that. And like, even if I could get, say, to like T6 or whatever, and I had foxholed there, the problem becomes, okay, so I get out of T6 and I advance into S6, and I take it. Well, you have to then, like, you have the final turn, because I move first. So I then have to survive in open ground. For an entire turn.
I feel you. It's a hard problem. I really think an early human wave is pretty much the only bit. Like, when we both first get to those hexes, as soon as if I get somebody up on W6 first, or Y6 first, excuse me, you got to human wave it and just hope you can kill off enough of my dudes that you can actually manage to get some stuff. I mean, I really think that's about it. Like, I don't even know. I mean,
there's secrets to this scenario that I have yet to unlock, and frankly, the bidding system on this scenario doesn't. I don't particularly think it's interesting. And Stu, to your question, we didn't do any bids. We actually just said, like, screw it, because we didn't like the options at all for the bidding. Like, none of it is appealing, so we just did it as a tie. And no, I didn't bother with Dare Death Squads. Because I have conscripts only, I had not even put any amount of thought into Dare Death Squad, because to me, it just like Human Wave, I don't feel like they would have survived at all. And with the rolling that Hypno had today, they wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, the
zeros, ones, threes. It would have been.
The Red Chinese were on it with the rifles today.
Oh yeah. But even with 10 morale, Stu, Hypno was getting KIAs. It I don't think this scenario is conducive to the KMT being off of the hills. And in order to be off of the hills, you have to willingly lose a bid in order to get there. But that diminishes the power of the partisans or Red Chinese, and there's no reason to do that because you're already at a super advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, can one of the other folks, like what's old guy? Is that his name? I don't know.
Yeah, the old man.
Old man. What is the advantage of the Red Chinese bidding? Like, if they bid, they have to move, and they've lost troops, and they give up the high ground essentially. Like, there's literally no reason that I can think of why the Red Chinese would bid anything than 0.
Yeah, like if the Red Chinese bid higher than KMT, they give away every advantage. Like they give away all the advantages to the KMT, which is strange. Well, like if we read it right, so the player with a high bid will move first, eliminate a number of full squads equal to their bid before play, and may conduct a pre-game move advance turn for a number of squads plus any SMC equal to his bid number. The player with the low bid controls all locations listed in the tactical objective, does not eliminate any squads prior to play, and set up their units in hexes listed in the tactical objective. Note that not all hexes need to be occupied. So if Red Chinese is the high bid, they move first but give away all the objectives and lose precious squads to gain movement first. But movement first is like worse in this scenario because you moving last gets you allows you to secure an objective that much more than move first. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense. And if there's an explanation out there for it, I'm happy to listen to it. But we couldn't. Not that.
Yeah, I don't follow the logic for it.
You're giving your opponent position, and in this position is key. Because like if I bid to win, sure I have more squads to throw away, but by bidding high, you would just get all this position. And we've already seen that if the KMT move first, okay, I have all of my movement factors instead of half, but that doesn't get me anywhere. Like it's still not enough to get me to the hexes where I need to. So it's suffice to say it's strange, and I don't understand the design choices for this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that initial bonus move that they're giving you is basically just enough to get you up onto the, up onto that first elevation level, basically.
Mm. And Stu, like, yeah, CX is the counter to an even bid, but I mean, again, like, what's the punishment for the Red Chinese? They CX, like they're forcefully CXing, but you're not gonna meet anybody on turn 1, so effectively you're reducing the movement factors of an already movement factor deprived force to then like give the Red Chinese the ability to double their movement, but they're just gonna double their movement. Like in a normal world where let's say the Red Chinese isn't forced to CX, why don't they just CX anyways? like why if you're the Red Chinese and you start on the north edge of the map and the KMT start at the bottom, why wouldn't you CX?
Yeah, I mean that's 2 turns of CXing basically just to get up to the level. I mean, this is 5 points to get into because it's ground snow plus elevation plus crag, right? It's 2 double plus 1. So like the number of movement factors just needed to get up into this area is like double what you need almost,
and frankly, like, there's no reason, like, because of the amount of movement that you can get, because you don't have to go through the crag, right? Turn one, you can go U1 for 3, 4, 7, 8 with a leader. All right, you're in the crag. Like, it didn't cost you anything extra if you're with a leader and you're CX'd. Whereas even if the KMT was CX'd, the most you could make is still Y9, because I mean, unless you're with a leader, but you know, it's just
It's kind of puzzling. Yeah, I'm sure there was a thought process behind it, but I'm not really grokking what they were going for. You know?
Yeah, the only substitute I could understand, because Stu says maybe it keeps the red off the hill. I disagree, because since the partisans have 4 movement factors, you can still advance even if you're CX from X3 to Y4, because it only costs you 3. So you're not preventing elevation changes. Um, it's strange.
Yeah, it's like two to three turns depending on where you are and where your target is to get up onto the victory hexes. And since you really only need 4, it, at least to me anyway, makes sense for the red Chinese to kind of hang back a little bit and let the KMT try and push up the hill, because that's going to be harder on them.
Essentially a unit in Y5 is a really good position, because you cover 1, 2, 3, maybe not this hex, but 4 or 5 vital hexes that'll get you anywhere. Um, and maybe it's just what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe it's just a facet or something about the scenario that was developed in 2002. But whoever playtested it, like, I wonder, should the wording have been the Red Army move second and can't use double time on the first turn? That makes more sense to me. But is that how it's intended? No clue. The design documents for this scenario pack are long gone, I'm sure.
I think you're giving them credit. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of an interesting thing. Like I said, I think without the bidding, it gets a little more interesting. And if you remove the bidding, you might have some kind of design space for some more interesting stuff to make it more interesting. But because it's kind of neat. Like, you don't really often see where you're both kind of attacking into the same area, you know.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of why, like, I like the idea of, what if you could like, another good idea, because it's mine and I think it's great. But what if, like, the red Chinese player can bid a squad, we'll say, or like 2 squads. I don't know. You can balance it somehow to remove maybe a crag from the map. You turn it into a regular, an open ground hex. Like, doesn't sound like a lot, but you trade 1 squad for additional movement that we're already saying is crazy to get to R4. But you trade 1 squad, we'll say, and you gain that much of a benefit to movement. To me, that starts sounding kind of cool. T8, for example, like, I don't care that T8 is a crag hex, because I can't rally. It's not rally terrain, so it's not a bonus, and it's a hindrance. I'm not getting a TEM for it, so you'd have to shoot through it, which you can't, because the line of sight here is, like, you'd have to shoot from here, and I'd have to be in U9. There's just there's no world in which T8 is of value, unless you turn it into an open ground hex. Right? Like, what if there's a way to bid and you turn Y6 into a woods hex? It makes it a lot more valuable to defend or do anything with it, because rally terrain, it's inherent +1. Like, there's things that could be done, and it's strange that they weren't. So
yeah, but it's interesting. So what's up next?
T8 has value because it's +1. T8 to balance out height advantage. W7 S7. I mean, sure, but I just don't. I just think that there are changes that could apply to this map that would be or scenario I should say that would be a lot more interesting. And yeah. Um. All right. So LM-9 returned to the Wu River. So hooray. It doesn't use any of the Steam maps. I think maybe one. I don't think. I don't even think that's true.
I think we've seen 35 before. I don't know why that's ringing a bell.
Uh,
Yes, we have. We saw part of 35 from the last
LM1?
one,
Or
from
was it-
LM7 actually.
Oh yeah. It's throwing me off because of the snow, so I don't think of all the orchards. Return to the Wu River. Red Army must amass twice as much CVP exit VP than the KMT. Each side amasses CVP normally. KMT only receives VP for exit VP off the east edge. Air death not applicable. Snow. Red Army may not invoke nuclear massacre. ELR of 1. Sick. I love ELR 1. Just give me ELR 0. Anytime you break, you become worse. Yeah, this I guess will be interesting. No support weapons other than one MMG for me. I get no good leaders. You get a hero.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an exercise in retreating for you.
Yeah. It'll be well. There's a point for me to exit or to try and run away. So whatever. I set up on board on Hexor's UX on board 35 and I have to run through 47. And you enter along the west edge. That's okay. That's why. So you're chasing after me. Should be interesting.
Yep, and then I've got some reinforcements that pop in
Northwest. Yeah.
later. Yeah, long scenario again.
Any turn. Yeah, they like doing the 9-turn scenarios, which frankly I'm starting to say boo to. They need to. It's indicative of earlier scenarios where they were just like, oh, we just need you to have a ton of time to do stuff. It's kind of why you never. Well, they're not balanced, but also why you don't see these in tournaments because nobody would want to play these.
Yeah, well, we'll crank through it. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, the one after that seems to be some more exit VP, except it's yours. Yeah,
Oh, good lord, that's a wacky map configuration, huh?
Yeah, triple board. It's gonna be frustrating to do that in Vassal. It's possible, but and then the one after that is deluxe boards. And Medieval Warfare is the only one I'm looking forward to right now, other than the one with the boats.
So you're telling me you've got a low ELR for your personal morale for these next couple series?
I think more. It's there are certain scenarios I don't care if I win or lose. And I think it's perfectly personified. Yeah, we gotta remember rolling for snow. That'll definitely be something to remember. Falling snow and so on. We're pretty good with it, I find. But
we like our weather rolls because it never changes.
Yeah. But to the point of the question, yeah, there's scenarios where because I really don't care all that much, I don't gripe or I'm not as celebratory for dice as I sometimes am. So, not to say I don't complain, or whenever I don't complain, it's because I don't care about the scenario. You know, sometimes you just you get a downward trend and you're like, butts, this sucks. I just want you to roll 12s all day, please.
Yeah, I really did not roll Average.
You rolled terribly at the start, like 11s, 12s. I was like, oh man, I feel bad. Like I'm at least I'm getting position, you know. But like, I kind of expected to like have a guy break or two, and then human wave. It's like dead, 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 dead. All right, and that's where they were.
Yeah, some days, Yeah. All right. Well, I will. We'll get to it. I'm playing the Reds. I think you need to set up first. For the
Yeah,
next one.
yeah, I have to set it first. So I'll send you the save sometime this week.
Yeah, later this week. No worries.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Awesome.
Have a good night.
See you
Thank you
later.
to the stream. Hope you enjoyed.
Cheers. And yeah, and before I end this, LM-14, what is this, Looting Bridge? Yeah, Looting Bridge. SSRs, oh my god, 5 of them? Is this the, and it's not even the one with the boats? What am I looking at here? The Red Army wins if the control buildings K2, M2. If the bridge house and bridge hex are kindled. A flame is treated normally. Why would I not treat it normally? However, a blaze in these hexes will not prohibit movement through or eliminate units, but will require a normal object for any unit that enters the hex. Broken units may ignore the K5 bridge house if it has a blaze counter. That sounds like what you would do normally. A blaze negates the rally terrain status of the bridge house. That tracks as normal. The K5 bridge house and the K6 bridge will kindle flame spread on an original DR of 8 or higher. No other bridge hex will ever burn. That sucks. Plank bridge may become planked, but one or more. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is bridge stuff. KMT mortar, or suffer from ammunition shortage. KMT fire beyond no ridge. Oh, yeah, okay. Doesn't seem... Oh, excuse me. Doesn't seem too crazy. Reds get dare death. I think so do regular KMT, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, I mean, looking forward to it like any other, for as much as I or others might gripe, I'm still looking forward to playing these just because, it's get them done, see how interesting and how scenario designers were doing things back in the day, and move on to bigger things eventually. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.